Hi, this is Zach here with this week's edition of Crypto Mania, Sunday the 12th of December. Not much mania around at the moment, but at the same time, not quite the doom and gloom that some in the market may be suggesting. For instance, with Bitcoin, we're bouncing off the 200-day moving average. That's the black line there on the daily chart, so around 46,500. Got a support line there from the floor of a rising trend channel from May at 44,000, so 44,000. 46.5, and that's the sort of support band that we're looking for, maybe to see something a bit like we had at the end of September, where we just went through the 200-day line and then rallied quite sharply to new all-time high. So still the bull argument in the sort of offing, and we've also got a situation where above the 200-day moving average, the technical glass is half full rather than half empty. Final piece of the jigsaw, bouncing off oversold RSI 30 as well, as we did back in May, and obviously the market recovered from that. And we did, I suppose, to a lesser extent in April, where there was also a bounce off the oversold RSI area. So a few sort of positive points there for Bitcoin at the moment. On to Binance, and here we've got a rising trend channel from May again. Floor of the channel currently around $480. A consolidation area between 5 and 520 or 530, I suppose. So any dips towards that sort of zone regarded as a potential area to buy into. Only back below 480 really delaying or cancelling the upside scenario within that rising trend channel. In terms of the upside, up to $715 there at that May resistance line projection as a best case scenario. Another point to look at, just to keep an eye on, is the 200-day moving average at $428. There was a sudden rug pull move, then maybe that would be the area that we would see this market to go down to, as we did at the end of October and also during September and the early part of October. So again, as I said, something to watch out for. On to Ethereum, which is near to the floor of its rising May trend channel. That's around 3,800. But while we're above that, we've got a notional range between 3,800 and up to the October resistance line there at 4,600. So that's a trading range to grapple with. If there was a sudden dip, that could be down towards the 200-day moving average at 32.30. Let's call it. That's rising, so that does actually give a positive momentum to this market. If we break that October resistance line around 4,600, then the maximum upside here at the moment up to 5,500 at the top of the May trend channel. Moving on to Cardano, and this market looking a bit the worse for wear, sort of at the last chance saloon in terms of finding support, so around $1.20. That is a line from February, and we also just pushed through that momentarily, but over the last couple of days. But at the moment, just hanging on to that uptrend line, and that allows us to suggest that this is a potential buying point, as were dips previously to the RSI 30 area that we had back at the end of November, and I suppose most tellingly and most brilliantly during July, when the RSI went down to that 30 area, and then we rallied very spectacularly indeed. In fact, we trebled after that dip for the RSI to that level. So let's hope that we'll see something like that on this occasion. If you're waiting for a momentum trigger, then an end of day close above the initial or that last December resistance at 145 could be the thing to wait for, and that would then target the 200-day moving average at 185. On to Dogecoin, which remains on the back foot. Well, certainly remains on the back foot. We've got that line of support there around 15 cents. We probed through it briefly, but so far that line from back in June holding doesn't look particularly impressive, given the way that the market is being pressurized by the 200-day moving average at 25 cents. That suggests that we could actually have another retest of the 15 cents or sub 15 cents area, even though at the moment the market is pretty oversold, the RSI near the 30 area. So not certainly nothing to rush into on the long side for Dogecoin at the moment, and the risk of maybe one final flush out in this market. Moving on to Ripple, and here we've got an uptrend line there from this time last year. That's running through 78 cents. So above that, I suppose it's good news in a way. We had an overshoot down towards 60 cents, which I suppose was the a decent buy opportunity. Maybe there'll be another chance to catch a falling knife like that. Otherwise, probably the easiest thing to do here is to wait for a clearance of the 200-day moving average at 96 cents before regarding this stock, this crypto rather, as being out of the woods. On to Solano, and or Solana rather, and here we've got this market just below a line of support there, which I'm trying to correctly draw. Here we've got it here, just around the 175 area. Maybe we were just below it, just above it, doesn't really matter. The flow of this market ideally would remain in a positive way from current levels. We've already put the low in around, towards $162 rather. If we have done that and we can then clear back above, let's say the 175 area, which was the initial support for this market at the beginning of the month, then there could be regarded as a bear trap effect in place. Has to be said though that this is not looking particularly exciting. Doesn't appear that there could be another push to the downside, maybe towards the 125, 130 area before this market finally gets back on its feet again after the declines that we've seen from $250. But at the moment, just hanging on and just giving us the impression that there could be, let's say, an earlier rebound than we hope for above the $150 area. Finishing off with Luna rather. Here we've got Luna versus the US dollar. This has been the star market of the last month or so. Come back a bit, which is a bit disappointing. Ideally, we stay above the low 50s, the old resistance there, around $53, $54. Above that, we can still maybe pencil in a move towards the $80 area. In terms of the upside, well, it looks as though the previous rising trend channel top towards $100, maybe a bit optimistic, but at least while we're above, say, $52, $53, a retest of the $80 area seems to be on the cards. That's it for me today. Let's see where we are this time next week.